Welcome, guys. It's another episode of the Neutral Corner. It's Dani Glover, it's Big Lex, and we're joined by our special guest today, Harlem Eubank.
Nice to be here.
You know what it is. Also, I just want to give a shout out quickly to the show sponsor for today. It's called Ragatonic Cherry Wine Tonic. Big. It's like, obviously, you know, the usual brands, Red Label and the other one, but this is the new one on the block. So make sure you go and get that serious stuff, proper things, isn't it? So
Yeah, taking a sip, yeah.
Well, yeah. How's it going, Harlem, man?
It's good. Fought last Friday, so been back in the gym Monday and grinding towards the next step, the next fight. So just living the life and enjoying every step.
So you've been quite active the past 24 hours. So what you been up? I heard you was at the fight last night.
Yeah, I came up to the Boatsi Richards fight and it didn't disappoint. Both really came to fight and both came to win, and it was a great showing and a great test for Boatsi. Richards really presented some, real challenges in that fight for Boatsi to overcome, and I thought it was a good test for both of them, and they both showed a good account of themselves, and they'll both go on to bigger and better fights in the future.
Yeah, man. Real talk. So how did you get started in boxing? Obviously, we know you've got a family lineage in the game, but what made you start yourself?
Wait, sorry. Before you answer that, you tell everyone how you're related to Chris Eubank.
So Chris Eubank's my dad's brother. So my dad's a twin, and they're Chris Senior's older brothers. So they started boxing, and I think Chris Senior got into boxing. Not off the back of them, but to kind of...
Did you say Chris Eubank Senior's a twin?
No, my dad's a twin.
Okay.
And they're my dad and his twin, Simon and Peter.
Yeah.
They're the elder brothers of Senior. So Senior's the little brother.
Right, got you. Okay, yes.
And I think to a degree he picked up boxing to almost prove himself and to his older brothers.
All right.
My dad and his twin were both great boxers themselves.
Yeah, I heard.
But yeah, my dad and his twin weren't really looked after. They were often the away fighters.
All right.
Peter beat my dad beat a few fighters in the top 10, and Peter beat Barry McGuigan.
All right.
And then he rematched it and then obviously lost. Yeah. So they were both very solid fighters.
All right. So that's going to lead into the question.
So was it just three of them, or was there more siblings?
3 that boxed, and then another brother that wasn't into fighting at all, and a sister as well.
Okay, so quite a big family.
Yeah.
So what made you get into boxing? Was it your father, or was it your uncle, your cousins?
I mean, boxing kind of found me late. I always thought boxing's really been completed by the family. Like for me to start boxing, there's some big shoes to fill, and to start late and try and fill that was almost an impossible task. So I always wanted to. I played football from young. I'd done karate before that. So I thought, let me try and achieve success in another field, because it's going to be easier to make an impression than it would in boxing. But at 18, I lost the love for football, and I walked into a boxing gym, and the rest is history. So
which club was that?
Brighton and Hove ABC, down on the seafront where I'm from, in Brighton where I'm from. So walked into that club with the intentions to turn professional, because whenever I do something, I want to do it to the fullest, and I'm seeing the professional game, seeing the fighters that really inspire me, and they're professionals, using their creativity in the game not really the amateur sport where it's more, keep your hands up, straight shots, point scoring. I love watching the Roy Jones Jr., Senior Ben, and Chris Eubank Jr. coming up, explosive fighters. Mayweather, the same way, like explosive, creative fighters.
Like you could tell by that left hook he gave. Sean Dodd.
Hopefully it's
still the masher Dodd
coming through and translating into my style as well. But that's what really inspired me. These the fighters that really embodied the art form that is fighting.
Yeah, definitely. Those are the guys that take the least damage.
Exactly. Hit and don't get hit.
Yeah, people like, it's like a lot of people, they shy away, not even shy away, or just a lot of fans tend to not actually know what the game's about. Hit and don't get hit. It's not about two guys going for a punch up. But if you do get that, it is what it is. But
yeah, I think it's easy entertainment, isn't it, to see two guys a similar level slugging it out.
But even like
Crash Bang Wallet.
Yeah, Mayweather, even in some fights, because he was so hard to hit, he was actually letting people hit him. And he said that in a couple just for the entertainment factor.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I think he was so good that he could really dictate how the fight went and if he wanted it to be more entertaining.
He started engaging so that it wasn't as easy or
as one-sided.
Or he could, be pleasing in the eye for the casuals on the fence.
Yeah.
So how was it growing up in Brighton? And also, what I wanted to know is, you grew up in Brighton, just like your cousin. But who was it? Your dad who moved there first, or Senior? Because obviously, the elders they come from Dulwich Peckham side.
Yeah. So I'm still learning all this kind of like recently, but
the family history.
Yeah, exactly. Getting deep into it. Because they don't really disclose it too much. So you have to.
I grew up in that area, Peckham.
Yeah,
Nunhead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they used to live, obviously, with their mum and dad, and then I think they were, getting up to no good. The twins, I think Senior would have been younger, so I think that when they were like 10, 11, 12, they were kind of on the street, not necessarily in school, and just kind of running reckless
on the roads.
And so I think at one point, not sure what time, but I think my grandma went kind of separate ways. My grandma went to America, and she took Senior, which would have been the youngest, with her to America, and the twins obviously stayed in London.
All right.
I think.
Okay, is that, sorry to cut you off? Is that when he started doing a bit of training in America?
Yeah, so obviously he would have been young at that time, but as he got older, he would have got into boxing in America. Yeah. But I think
was that New York?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was in a few areas, but in New York was a base for him. I think Peter was getting into more kind of trouble in London, and he went to a youth school for maybe like troubled kids in Horsham, where it's like, I imagine it's one of them where they take you out of the area to keep you out of trouble, and he kind of moved to Horsham in like a boys' school for all the kids that weren't really
boarding school / centre.
Yeah, it's one of them. So I think he was in one of them and took up. He told me they had like a boxing club in that centre where they've got activities, I guess, for the kids to keep them out of trouble and just to have like a weekly boxing session or whatever. So he picked up boxing in there. Obviously, after a few years there, when he was kind of released from there, he then went to Brighton. So I think my dad then from like Peckham met him in Brighton. And then when Senior was kind of a certain age, he wanted to go and be with his brothers. So he went then to meet them in Brighton, and that's where their base was.
Family legacy down there.
Yeah. So home of fighters.
Is your dad is he about parliamentary procedure as well, or is it just?
No? I mean, they've all got their own thing. I think Chris is unique.
Yeah, very
very unique in what he does. They're all. they all have their own nature.
Uncle
Chris.
Chris.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, Uncle Chris. Let me. Yeah. He knows how to. He knows how to play certain roles and integrate that with his characters, and he's very smart and very, very good at that.
Yeah, very, man. Very. Even when he used to fight, he used to get underneath people's skin. It's like no one could get underneath his skin, which is crazy.
He knew the game very well, and I think, if people were to go and study what he done and how he done it, it's very, very smart.
Yeah, man. I want to know if you've inherited the family chin.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah. That's what I was waiting.
I don't get hit too much yet, so we'll have to see as we go through the fights. But yeah, I mean, so far so good.
But kids, one thing we don't need to be testing your chin. Like I said, it's about hit and don't get hit.
Hit and don't get hit.
Yeah.
You don't need to
advertising your chin.
Yeah.
You don't need to take unnecessary damage. This is a skill focused sport.
Yeah.
So it's all about the skill, regardless of regardless of whether the fans want to see two evenly matched guys slug it out. Really, what inspired me to get into this sport is seeing the masters of the game perform their skills at a high level. That's what it's all about.
So you said you boxed for Brighton and Hove. How was it down there, and what was your amateur career like?
It was difficult because I was just a kid that was starting boxing at 18. So straight into seniors, you're taking punches off men, and you're trying to figure out, how do I evade shots? How do I? And you're in there starting at that stage. It's not starting as a kid when you've got 30 kg kids hitting you. You're in there with grown men. So it was a case of that. I obviously had a certain ability where, like a natural just ability. I'd done karate in the past, and I always had an affinity for combat, the philosophy of it, and just testing yourself against another man. So because I showed certain promise, I was always put in there with tougher opposition. So I was in the deep end learning, but I also was aware that I needed to pick it up quick, and it wasn't a case of just take, these kids on home shows that you can beat. It was a case of going. I was in the under 10 ABAs,
Southern counties.
Yeah, on 2 fights, against guys that were 6-0, 8-0, and then the following year I was in the next championship, and then 1 year I done the under 20 ABAs, and the same year I done the open class. So it was just a case of let me get in there with these kids. I'm gonna take their experience regardless of how the result goes, and I'm gonna be a better fighter for it.
So how many bouts did you have before you fought open class?
I fought open class as soon as I could, I think. So probably maybe, after 20 fights, because after you've done
under 20,
after you've done over 20 fights, you're open class, really.
Yeah.
As soon as the stats said open class, I was fighting open class. So. And kids that were championship level. So it was just about gaining experience. I knew that I needed to fast track myself, and the best way to do that is to jump in with the better kids and learn either way.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, I remember Brighton and Hove. You got guys like the legend Murad Takalu, who'd been down there. Navid Iran, you know what you did. Scott Welsh was there. You bit me.
Iron Mike.
Yeah, Iron Mike was there in attendance, but yeah, man. So, as you said, your aim when you got into boxing was immediately focused on turning pro. So, when was the turning point when you said, "All right, now I've done my apprenticeship, it's go time"?
I think it was a process all throughout. I was kind of like, I was always speaking to Scott and kind of like, when do you think I can turn pro? When have a few more fights, had a few more. When do you think I can turn pro? After under 20 ABAs, like, do you think I can turn pro now? Like, get some more experience. So I was kind of like, when can I go? When can I go? And then obviously got to open class, had a few more fights. And then there was a time where I just felt ready. I'd sparred some pros that come to the gym and, you know, and done well. And I think there was just a stage where it was just like, now's the time, you know. Amateurs is a game that is there for experience, but it's not a game that was necessarily suited to my style or or like the creative side that I wanted to integrate into my performances. So there's a time where it was just like, okay, now's go time.
Yeah.
And that, you know, at 22, that's when I turned professional.
Okay. How old are you now?
28.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So you turned pro at the age of 22. Who did you turn over with?
I didn't really turn over with anyone at the time. Ronnie was with me for my first fight.
Ronnie Davis.
Yeah, but I just wanted to get. It was just about getting a fight at this stage. It was like a case of looking around. You know, who shall I go with? Who shall I go with? But I wasn't getting fights, so I was just like, okay, let me just get a fight underway. And Scott had a Brighton a show at the Brighton Metropole, so it was like a local show, a good chance for me to kind of get round everyone up locally, and just get in the ring and get the first one out of the way. So done that.
Then your second fight was surprising. You fought a guy unbeaten, 2-0 Michael Green.
Yeah. So this is the thing.
How did that come about?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So after my first one, again, couldn't really get a fight. I was looking at different options. I traveled with my cousin Seb to Cuba, tried to get some sparring out there and just try and learn and soak up experience. But I wasn't getting any opportunities to fight. So it was just a case of I had a friend who was helping me, and so he was kind of speaking with Adam. I'd been up sparring at Adam's before. I hadn't spoke to Adam for a while, and then someone helping me try and navigate or break through the door said, he spoke to Adam, go up there tomorrow and you're fighting in 2 weeks at York Hall. So I was like, sweet. So the next day I was up at Adam's and I was fighting Michael Green 2 weeks later, unbeaten kid 2-0.
Yeah.
And that was that. But I had these challenges early. It wasn't like these prospects now who are, you can get a guy who's this many losses experience, whatever, but not going to really come to win. From the off, I had guys that were coming to beat me. I had obviously Michael Green across the corner who was 2-0 with his own promotional backing or whatever, and he's coming to try and cause an upset against myself. So
yeah, with his own goals and ambitions.
Exactly, and that's what I faced from early. So it's kind of instilled at this point that mentality where I'm ready for those challenges, and that's shown through my career to this point.
No, that's very serious. So as Lex was asking, because he was asking if you were signed, was you ever in some kind of manage or any kind of deal with Lee, because you boxed on quite a few of his shows?
No, it was more. I mean, it wasn't like a. I don't think it was any. It was nothing that was like
concrete.
A contract or yeah. It was more
an arrangement.
Yeah. It was more like an arrangement to fight, and that worked really well through lockdown, especially because I got to fight regularly and tough opposition, and the kids I was fighting was more signed, and I think Lee was Dani's manager as well, so you could say I was the away side in that as well. So it was just about taking on them challenges, and that was a perfect time and setup to really take them challenges on.
Yeah. Obviously, the Adam you're talking about is Adam Booth, right? Just so.
Yeah, I'm with Adam Booth.
No, because you kept saying Adam just so that people know he's talking about Adam Booth. So is he your manager and trainer?
Yeah, manager and trainer. Yeah.
Where do you train? Is it Red Hill or
Red Hill? Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got a mate that he comes down there sometimes just to train. He's always telling me that because I know that other bouncers there sometimes as well.
Yeah, he's down there. Yeah.
A lot. Obviously, how do you feel about that? All that. You know what he's got going on with the wicked and bad, and obviously had a fight yesterday as well. A show yesterday. Did I just saw a couple of results. I didn't follow the show because obviously I was like, but how do you feel about a lot of people now coming into boxing and stuff and trying to get theirs?
I think it's good. I think it shines more light on boxing. It creates opportunity for different fighters. With the wicked and bad stuff, especially, it gives more like unlicensed fighters and possibly amateurs, gives them different avenues. I think the more opportunity for fighters, the better. And even the game opening up with Wasserman and Boxer, and it's good for fighters because, you know, when it's locked in that there's only like one promotional company.
Very hard.
If you're not an Olympian, you know, there's no way in through the door.
Yeah.
So I think it's great because fighting, you know, it takes time to become an elite fighter, and it's not always the guys that had the success in the amateurs. Sometimes, a lot of the time it is, but it's not always that way. So it's great to provide opportunities for fighters from all walks of life, and that's happening now with all these promotional companies and you know, wicked and bad.
Because in this country in particular, before all these like boxers, Matchroom, Frank Warren, all these, it was very hard for fighters, you know, only a selected crop of people would get through and actually make a living from boxing. You had other guys scrapping, have to selling tickets and stuff. And that selling ticket format was really stressful on fighters. So I'm happy that a lot of people are coming out now and giving fighters opportunity to make a lot of money or make a living, per se. Because before it wasn't like this. There was probably only one outstanding promoter that you could go with if you don't make it with him.
Yes, Frank Warren and Frank Maloney back in the day.
Oh yeah, Frank Maloney. But then there's always somebody whose run comes to an end. And there's only one stand-up promoter. So it's like
the more the better, because it creates more opportunity for the fighters, and the promoters have to give the fighters more.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what I heard, like, i.e. the Whitaker was talking about.
Yeah.
If everyone was going to put their money down, they would have put their money down. He was signed with Matchroom. But I heard the money box offered him was crazy.
Yeah, so it gives fighters more control, more access to decide where they want to go, and more room for negotiation.
Yes,
so
exactly.
The more power the fighter has, the better.
Exactly.
So I see. So you had a good run after that, and then you come up against another unbeaten guy in Simon Egbunuke.
Daniel Egbunuke. Yeah.
Danny
Egbunuke. Yeah.
Yeah. 6-0.
Yeah. And
3 knockouts.
And he hadn't lost as an amateur or a pro, so he was. So he was completely undefeated. So that was a real solid test.
Yeah.
And I came through it and had a good performance and propelled me onto the next stage.
Yeah. So because what I remember that, and then the time where I first thought, this one's could be sticky, but you dealt with him in 8 rounds, was Martin Madonna. I don't know if you know, the Madonna family are very notorious around like amateur boxing scenes. Like you hear Madonna or Doherty, there's a million boxers. So when I thought, you fight Martin Madonna, okay. And then the way you box, I was like, nah, this guy's got something, you know. So I was highly impressed with that bout.
Thanks, man. I fought him twice as an amateur, and
he beat you.
Yeah, he the first time it was the first southpaw I'd fought, and he just played that southpaw game, and I wasn't hip to it at all, and he ran away with the decision fairly easily. The second time was in the Haringey and Haringey Box Cup, and it was a split decision. I thought I won it. He got the decision. It's that amateur boxing, isn't it? Where it's like one person sees one thing, another sees the other. But Yeah, by the time I was offered the fight, obviously I'd had time in the professional game to really kind of hone in on my skills. So I was very confident going into that fight, and I knew that he would be as well, having the amateur success. Yeah, and he was an elite amateur as well. He fought a lot of the top guys, a lot of the Olympic kids and the GB kids as well. So that was a fight where I could really show how I'd adapted to the professional ranks, and got the stoppage in the 8th.
Yeah, because like he was similar to you, in he's coming from a fighting family. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was on paper, that was a very 50-50 match, and you come through with flying colours. So I was really impressed with that one, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So, did you have a question?
No, go.
Yeah. So, how did your deal with Cali Saulin, or is it?
I was gonna ask, what do you think your hardest opponent was before we move off the?
Yeah.
Hardest opponent, I think, the most experienced was Masha.
Masha,
The opponents are getting more difficult and more experienced as I go. So I think Masha was the most experienced, had the most a lot of prospects. He knows how to give them problems. He comes with that awkward style. He rarely gets caught clean, and he's there to give people an awkward night, and that's what his intentions were with me as well.
Because it obviously he had that nice, highlight reel knockout, but that wasn't like, how do you say, that wasn't like how people would see that and think that's how it was an easy fight, basically.
Yeah, that's
but
not what was expected.
Yeah,
what was expected was
it on the script?
A hard 10-round fight to gain experience. That's what was expected, and I think that's why it wasn't put on live, even though there was a gap. They couldn't have two 10-round fights back to back. So
because they never thought you would get the quick knockout.
Exactly. If they thought that was a 2-round knockout, highlight reel knockout, they would have put that on right before the main event.
Chief support.
But they expected a 10-round fight, and that's what Masha usually brings. He usually brings an awkward fight, and when he has been stopped, it's usually to the body or just a wearing down process where the ref jumps in. So
accumulation.
Exactly. So it was a good chance to show what I can do.
Yeah. And so going back, as we're on the subject of that fight, what made you do that celebration, which was like respectfully disrespectful, some will say, but it was like, how do you describe that?
Is that from your karate background, or?
I think it can be taken however people want to take it. From me, it's a sign of respect. I study combat, and it's a true art form. And at the end of the day, it's, you enter the dojo, you bow on the way in, you bow on the way out. You take off your shoes and pay your respects to the environment you're in. And it's an environment that is, it can be a brutal one. And it's all about respect, and the origins of combat. Taking a bow is a sign of appreciation for your opposition and a sign of respect.
I hear that, Harlem, but at that time when you knocked him out, was that what was going through your mind?
It's built into me.
Yeah.
It's not a case of this is going through my mind. It's a case of, I study and appreciate combat to its truest form. Okay. So it's not a thought process.
Okay, so you didn't even think of doing it. It just happened, basically.
It's natural.
Yeah, it's natural.
Organic. I like that. So, it was like, you'd say a signal of the Warriors Code. What would be one of the, what do you call it?
Yeah, we will watch Karate Kid, so we know.
Karate Kids could be the, the cheesy Hollywood version of it, but this is combat. People who get in the ring, people who engage in one-on-one combat. It's it's true. And Senior calls it the warrior code, but there is a code that fighters abide by to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of sacrifice, dedication, and all things that get you to a point where you can have success, in one-on-one combat.
Yeah. So how did you get your signing with Wasserman? How did that come about?
So it was just a case of the fights before that, alerted people that I'm not just a relation to senior and junior, and that I can fight. And it was just a case of proving that in the fights before, and obviously new opportunities, new promotional companies coming about. There's a few options of what way you want to go. Having shown what I can do in the actual fights where it matters, it's just a case of picking the right guys that I wanted to steer my career to the next stage. And I believe that Wasserman and the Sauerland brothers were the guys to do that.
Yeah, real talk. So, and also, is Adam Booth your only professional trainer thus far? Was you with someone before?
No,
since
Adam Booth,
from day one.
Yeah. I trained with Scott Welch and Anthony Brown in Brighton and Hove ABC, in the amateur gym, but it's a amateur pro gym, so there's some pros there as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they always guided me through the amateurs, and then towards the end of my amateur career, I was sparring up at Adams a lot, and then there was a time where it was kind of like a year gap where I had my debut and stuff like that. Adam messaged me to see your debut, like good performance. I've got Josh Kelly here now if you want to come up and spar. So it kind of re-sparked the connection by going up and sparring Josh, and then from there it kind of went away. I think I went away again. And then obviously I got the call, you're fighting in 2 weeks. You'll see you in the gym tomorrow type of thing.
Yeah.
So from there, it was like you say, competitive fights. And come through the hard way and kick down the doors to get to where I am now.
Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. It's Harlem, don't hit me no more. So, but for the casuals or anyone who might not know the history of who Scott Welch is, he's a former heavyweight British Commonwealth champion, and you might mostly remember him from the film Snatch as an actor also. So big up Scott Welch.
Yeah, his son Tommy Welch is on the come up now as well. I think he's 5-0. So look out for him as well.
Yeah.
So obviously your cousins, like you said, we all know who your cousins are, your uncles are. Was it was it like a thing for you to try and just make it through, like your own path, and you didn't want to be, obviously you're going to be attached to them, but you just didn't want nothing given to you. You wanted to earn everything. To
a degree, I think the opportunity wasn't necessarily presented to be given to you. To be given. Yeah. But at the same time, if it was there, you might have just said, come here. I think if it's there, it's easy. Yeah. When you see how hard the game is at the time, you think, of course, it makes sense. Looking back at the experience and fortitude and resilience I've gained doing it the way I've done it, I have to say, I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything.
Also, I forgot to mention that what made that fight even more intriguing, even though I didn't see the fight with Michael, the 2-0 guy.
Oh, Green, yeah.
Michael Green, is that why was that fight made so heavy? You was 150, he's 155.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me at the time. It was same day weigh-ins. He was actually a middleweight. Yeah, same day. It was my first fight on one of them next gen shows.
It was over 155 he weighed.
Yeah. So I think basically Adam was like, same day weigh-in, just come in at a comfortable weight. And with me, like I hold a lot of water, so I've got big legs, and I must have weighed on the day like 150. So it was like I think he came in at 155, and it was just like, I think Adam was just like, listen, weight doesn't matter. It's about fighting. But yeah, when I see the size of him and 155, I was thinking
middleweight.
First one on a show where you got to try and show something. I was thinking this is
Didn't you think, well, shouldn't this be for like my cousin Chris? It's the same weight.
It's like, yeah. But to be honest, you can't even. I don't really care who's in front of me. I'm just thinking, let's go and handle this. So I let my
team
manager and team deal with that, and I just go in there and do the business.
Yeah. So what's next then? Are you looking to get like a Southern area title, or
you thinking past that?
Are you looking for?
I mean, when I fought Dani, he'd already won Southern area in English. So as soon as that fight was kind of, as soon as the elements I showed in that fight, people were talking about like either English or British eliminators. So it's just a case of, I think, getting a few more fights, a bit more experience under my belt than the British.
Yeah, then you look at, obviously that's like, not obviously, but that would be like a Key Menace Brown, Maxwell,
all
Tom
them
Farrell,
guys.
them kind of guys there.
Yeah.
Some good matchups there at 140.
O'Hara?
Yeah, well, O'Hara, I'd say he's over British.
I think he's going for. I think he's on the bridge of world eliminators, or I think he was mentioned for like some type of
for the vacated WBA.
Okay, yeah,
because remember he fought both Catterall and Josh Taylor.
Oh, has Josh Taylor vacated?
He got stripped. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No.
I think there was a group of like 6 of them that had to like apply,
like an interview.
You have to like apply, apply for the belt,
and say they had to give a reason why. Why should a job interview?
Yeah, he said he's adamant he didn't get stripped. Right, he was going back and forth. Someone said you did get stripped.
Yeah, he said he vacated. Or
all right, that's the typical. Oh, you didn't fire me. I resigned.
Yeah.
So yeah, that old chestnut. But we move. So yeah, man. Oh, so back to like your childhood growing up in like Brighton and Hove area. So how was it like carrying the family name? Was there people who, in school or the area would think, let me try and test him because I can get some stripes?
Well, I think my cousins experienced that more because I think they were kind of, they were more
in the limelight.
Yeah, probably more in the limelight, and they had that more attachment to. They would have like parties, and everyone would. I think they had a ring in the house at one point, and everyone would kind of like fight each other, like get some gloves on, and kind of like go in against each other. So I think they were probably more tested. With me, I was always I didn't grow till I was 18, so I was 5 foot flat throughout school.
Really?
Yeah, literally, I grew late, so I had a late growth spurt. Not that I'm the tallest now, but before that, significant because
how tall are you now?
5'8", 5'8.5".
Yeah.
But literally till 18 or 17, 18, I was 5 foot flat. So when I played for Brighton, they would always say, although technically you can play, the physicality, the physical side. I was always ready to get stuck in against anyone.
Like a Spria.
Yeah.
Kind of right.
But a lot of the time where they're looking for them physical big players, I was still very small, which would be a different story if I was in Spain.
Yeah.
But over here, slightly different.
Yeah.
But I always played football, so I was kind of like, my focus was football. I wouldn't really go out on the weekend where everyone starts going out on a Friday night in school. I'd have a game for Brighton on a Saturday morning.
Right.
So I was always like, I'm at school, playing for the school team. I'm training 3 times a week for Brighton, and then I'm playing on a Saturday. So I always had that regimented focus through school, so I wasn't really swayed by anything else.
So what position did you play?
I was going to ask that as well. Go ahead.
I started off centre midfield for for Brighton, I started off centre midfield, up front, right wing, and left wing.
Where did you end up?
Well, at 18, end up at right back.
Yeah.
so yeah, I went through a load of positions. When I first started, I had this. Obviously, being small, I still had the speed and agility. When you get older and the bigger players start to come, you lose that speed where you haven't grown to the same. You lose certain advantages.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So you have to play to your advantages. So I've played a lot of positions.
Do you support Brighton as well?
Yeah.
All right. So.
Ratings. That's it. It's about supporting your local team.
Man. They've done well as well. They've come from, below Championship to now Prem. So they're smashing it.
Yeah, because a lot of people, a lot of Londoners, unfortunately, they tend to support teams like Liverpool, Manchester United.
Yeah, I support Man United. I grew up in Crewe.
Yeah,
somehow.
Okay, because when you go up to Mancunians, Scousers, Geordies, if they're caught in some London team, you're getting jumped. You can't wear them shirts.
Well, it's London. There's different rules,
No, ratings back because I support Crystal Palace, my local team. So
who they playing today?
Man United.
Oh no, because you told me. I forgot. Yeah, no, you found out. Sorry, I forgot because someone's going to the game.
I was with one of the players last night.
Yeah.
I see them all on the train this morning. I see all the Crystal Palace. This morning.
They come to support.
I think Adam's going to the game. I see Adam is going to the game.
Yeah, he watched Craig Richards take the penalty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at half time the other week. Adam, if you recorded it.
Did he score?
Yeah. Bottom bins.
Okay.
So what's your baller game like then? Because I've seen quite a few of your mates post like in your stories pictures of you with them back in the day in the football kits and that.
Yeah, I was like a little skill player. Like, I love the flair side of the game. Love to dribble and
step overs.
Yeah, step overs, little runs, and just like the flair side of it. Like, I always was excited by players like Ronaldinho and Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Who's your best player of all time? Who's the greatest of all time for you?
Greatest of all time. I used to love watching Maradona.
Okay.
Some of his runs, Pele. I used to try and find all the old clips of them.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out.
I definitely know you went in their time.
Who's your favourite all time?
Ronaldinho.
Okay.
Yeah, Ronaldinho.
He's the best player of all time. But if you want to talk, but he has had the best career of all time.
Yeah.
If you're going by eye test and what this guy would do on that pitch, it was unreal.
Completely different. I think he's
unreal.
His prime was probably better than anyone else's prime. That 3-4 year period where he dominated, no one could touch him.
It was only because he lived on top of a nightclub. Really? You know that? He lived on top of a nightclub. Huh?
In a favela or something?
No, in Barcelona. He lived on top. When he was at Barcelona, he lived on top of a nightclub, and he just didn't have any sort of chill or any kind of like. I can't say he didn't have the work ethic, but he was just a party boy.
Yeah,
and
no downtime.
You can tell by look what's happening with him right now. He just
that Brazilian team. At points, it was fire.
My favourite, even though I'm not even a hardcore football guy, was R9, the real Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo's a bad boy player.
A lot of the I see a lot of the pros. Or I think they
always shitting on
No.
Cristiano.
I think it was Messi.
Yeah.
Someone asked Messi, who's the best player of all time? I think he said, Ronaldo.
Nah, because Ronaldo, R9, he was silly as well.
Yeah.
If I love R9 as well, but the only reason I love Ronaldinho is just the things that I'd see him do.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that goal he scored against Chelsea in the Champions League when he literally did not move? And he just,
the flair.
I said, that is unreal.
Yeah, he could do things that no one else can do. For sure.
R9 was a serious striker though. And you know that period when people were calling him fat and stuff?
Yeah.
You're still leaving real friends.
If you can do that when you're fat, that's when you know you're good.
He's the football Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
So when it comes
to burn,
there you go. It's built to go, not for show.
Yeah.
So when it comes to boxing, who's your favorite of all time? number one? Because I know you mentioned
A few
about
names.
quite a few names, but I
think-
think you got to pin one down, man.
I think Sugar Ray Leonard or Sugar Ray Robinson. I like both of them. Like, there's something different about them. Like, watching Sugar Ray Robinson, I just wish there was more footage of him to
That's what I was
watch.
gonna say. It's hard to get footage of that guy,
Yeah.
man.
I just wish there was more to watch. With Sugar Ray Leonard, I just love watching all his fights against different styles. He could adapt to anyone. He was the most versatile in adapting in the fight to different fighters and being smart and explosive, fast combinations, quick feet. He could dance, he could punch. He had everything.
Yeah. Sugar Ray Hearns, I like him. I'm more of a haggler.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hearns, you know.
Yeah, they were great fighters.
Yeah, but they're all that four Hagler,
Hearns was the most
Duran,
dangerous.
Yeah, all of,
think.
that was a nice little a little
Proper
dark
guys.
cropper, yeah.
Duran had some of the most skills as well.
No mess.
Yeah.
But mine, when you talk about old school guys, for some reason it's Jack Dempsey, man.
Yeah.
That guy, I just like the way he fights, especially when he broke about 6 ribs on a brother. Just dropped him like 9 times. You know them days when you drop, as soon as you get up, like you can stand over the man.
Yeah.
You know them days you don't have to go to the neutral corner. Wink, wink. You didn't have to go to the neutral corner. You'd stand over them. As soon as you get up, the man goes bam, 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 bam. Have you seen them fights?
I need to
Watch them old school fights.
Yeah.
You can stand over the dropped opponent, and as
start
soon as he
whacking
gets
until
up,
they get up.
as soon as his knee comes off the floor, you can start banging him up. There was no neutral corner type stuff back then.
Brutal.
Very
Brutal.
So, what we got for the future then?
Some more explosive fights, you know. I should be fighting July and building towards them titles, and then, you know, then more difficult tests and stepping up the opposition bit by bit and to really develop into the fighter and fulfill my potential in the sport. I feel like I can go all the way, so it's just a case of proving that step by step now.
So if you ideal opponent next, if you like give you like a trio of people to pick, who would you call out, or who do you want?
I think I've got one lined up, but I can't disclose yet. So
what, British or can you say any just a little bit?
Are they British?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, there's some in the pipeline. So
that's British. Anything from heavyweight to 140. No, I'm joking.
140 to 160.
Yeah, that's it. Go through them divisions.
All right. So that would be with Wasserman, and I'm guessing in the UK as well.
Yeah. It's gonna be in the UK, July time.
Indigo again?
I don't think this one's gonna be in London.
All right.
So hopefully, like, ideally, I want to travel. I want to fight in front of all different audiences, around the UK and hopefully America and different locations as well. So it's about I want to perform in front of everyone.
So if you're training, do you commute to Red Hill every day, or how long's the drive? Or
it's about a 50-minute drive.
Oh, 50 is not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad, but get on the road and, you know, stick some music or a podcast on, and by the time you're done, you're there. So it's pretty routine for me. I'm on the train at the moment, so.
Oh, okay. Did you was the location the reason you went with Adam Booth, or was it just you thought he's the best trainer?
No, location would, because it would have been Ronnie Davis otherwise. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be.
Ronnie's getting on now, so
not
Ronnie's
great. Ronnie's great at looking after
a
fighter.
Yeah.
But I just had the sparring there for one. The fighters.
There's like a little stable.
Experienced fighters that I can gain insight from and work with.
Okay.
And, you know, Adam and his coaches, Charlie, who I've done most of my work with, and H as well.
Okay.
So a good group of people that are really striving to be the best they can be as well in every department, coaching and fighting, and a good stable of talent that I can learn from and draw experience and knowledge from as well.
So how's like training and sparring that you do? Because I see you've got quite a few pictures with Michael Conlon
Yeah.
So as those.
Do you spar, Mike?
Yeah. The good thing about it is for me is that Mick's a few weights below me, so I can get experience from him. I can get technical ability.
Fast, ain't he?
Crazy technical, very technically advanced, mad work ethic. So I can draw from him, his amateur experience there. You've got Josh, who's weight above me, one of the most talented fighters, very tricky and skillful. Doesn't have necessarily as much experience as Mick, but has more creativity and more. He's more of a natural talent, whereas Mick's really been through the levels from amateur as a young kid. So he's got a wealth of experience. Josh is natural talent. So I've been able to draw from both of them, as well as guys like Abbas Barral, who's medaled in world championships as an amateur and beat some of the top GB boys, and now doing great as a pro as well, and making his way in the game. So there's loads of talent for me to draw from.
So did the sparring with Conlon help with the Madonna fight? Because obviously with was it Southpaw?
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's a different type of Southpaw. Like, I don't think Martin fights necessarily not like a Southpaw would in general. So there's different elements to each stance, but I mean, Mick fights completely different, so we had different people to prepare for that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's enough styles in the gym to cover a broad basis.
Do you have any more?
Nah.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to, got a question from one of the defeaters. Off the Canvas Boxing asks, I'd love to know if Harlem Eubank is competitive with Chris Eubank Jr. career-wise. Also, what is your dream UK matchup at 140 and global dream fight at 140?
Oh, does it mean like, do they compete?
Yeah.
In the
competitive. Friendly competitive, not.
I doubt that. But...
I don't think so. I think it's more. He's at a stage where he's achieved it already.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's more kind of like an inspiration thing rather than like a competitive thing. He's at a different stage in his career. He's at a stage now where it's probably his last few years, to
get world honors.
Yeah, to really push on. And for me, I'm just starting. I'm just proving myself in the game really, and just getting ready to turn up the gears in the sport.
Yeah. And then the second question was, what's your dream UK matchup and global dream fight at 140?
It's hard to say. I don't really look at names thinking I'd love to fight them. I know some people look at people in the division. People are usually going for weak links that have a title. What's a weak link that has the best title I can get?
Giving away the block boxers' plans. Is this what
they
do?
Yeah. People are looking at the weak. A lot of people are looking at the weakest links. Whereas I'm looking at the best fighters, thinking, I'm gonna get to a position where I can really dance with the best. And that's what I'm working towards. I'm not kind of looking down the list thinking, this guy's this position, but he doesn't look that, he looks like the worst of this. Like I'm not doing that. I'm looking at the guys at the top thinking, what do they do well? I do this well, I can improve on this. This is what I'm gonna work on and work towards and keep being inspired to be the best I can be.
So what you're saying is you're not trying to cherry wine tonic cherry pick your opponents, which I love.
Exactly.
You were working on some material last night.
that was off the cuff.
Insert promo.
Yeah, the price has gone up. So we move on now. Have you got any more?
No. You're reading that questions from the fans, aren't you?
No, I've read that. That was
Oh, that was just off the
that
gloves.
was off the canvas. He asked one. So have you got any more questions? Otherwise, we'll move on to the penultimate round.
Yeah, move on to the penultimate round.
We'll move on to this is the neutral corner. We're moving on to penultimate round. This is a series of questions. It's like two choices, one answer. Yeah, you kind of get the gist.
Cool.
So, for instance, red corner or blue corner?
Either.
You got to pick one.
Red.
Left hook or straight right hand?
Got to be that left hook.
Yeah, lefty.
Everlast or fly?
I've worn fly so far, but could be either.
You got to keep it open for the promotions. Come on.
Cleto Rays or Grants?
Grant.
Rival or winning?
Winning for sparring.
Training.
Rival for fight.
All right. When it comes to boots, Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Everlast or Lonsdale? This is for boots as well.
Everlast or Lonsdale. Everlast.
Okay. York Hall or O2 Arena?
York who?
O2.
Now you got to choose in your local ends now. Brighton or Hove?
Trying to think where the border ends and starts. where I'd rather spend most of my time.
Just think of what's the better beach.
Brighton. Say Brighton, yeah.
What's the better beaches?
Hove's the better beach, 100%. But Brighton, you got the lanes.
Okay.
So I'll spend my time between the lanes and Hove Beach. So it's kind of like, it's a difficult one.
So which one did you choose?
Yeah.
Brighton.
I mean...
Yeah, Brighton, you said.
Yeah, Brighton. But if you're talking about the beach, then Hove.
Okay. Well, I was just saying the overall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard because I'll be at Brighton Lanes or Hove Beach.
So what do you prefer? Beach or lanes?
If it's a day like today, then the beach.
Okay. We'll go with Hove. Cool. Big up. Tupac or Biggie?
Biggie all day for me.
I listen to both. Yeah. I'm not
Big
assigned
Papa.
for one like that.
Okay, I hear that. Now you see the posters. You look behind and there. So
Nice.
Ali or Tyson?
Ali.
Jack Johnson or Joe Lewis?
Joe Lewis.
You're
No, Jack Johnson.
No,
Jack
what-
Johnson.
what-
Jack
what-
Johnson's.
you're a boxing historian a bit though, ain't you?
The first black
I'm not
heavyweight.
that. Yeah, I liked the stuff he was. He kind of. I think Johnson
pace.
made a way, kind of, for boxers. For
black boxers.
Yeah, for black boxers, but he almost transcended boxing.
He
You
did
know,
as well,
he went
to be fair.
into more of the, kind of Renaissance space and fashion and.
Yeah, he was a maverick.
Yeah.
So he was kind of. Do you know what? Funny enough, I didn't even think of it like that. Of this question, it was kind of off the cuff, but he kind of set pace for like your Uncle Senior because he was like a maverick, dressing in the fly
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah,
You
he
know what I mean?
definitely
Big boy cars. Them, you know what I mean? So
he introduced a lot of that, and Sugar Ray Robinson, he was one of them guys as well. That he had a space outside of boxing
with the slick hair.
slick hair, the suits, the cars, his personality. So I think I like the way Johnson kind of made that space for the fighters to come after him.
BMW or Mercedes?
Mercedes,
Audi or Lexus?
Audi,
Rolls Royce or Bentley?
Rolls Royce.
You're single, yeah?
Not.
All right, well,
No,
You say no questions that can.
You say you got,
questions that
next time you go, you got a
box
girl.
me in a corner.
Next time you go, you got a girl.
You got me on the ropes.
all right, here's the question. Choose if you want to answer that.
It's all about personality.
Okay. The question was dark skin or light skin. It's all about personality. That's a great answer. Garage or house?
House.
Music.
House.
Yeah.
Garage.
R&B or slow jams?
Same thing, right?
No. Nah.
Can't be in the same
no,
box.
Just say they're not the same thing. We're gonna get into a historian.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna start bringing up R&B and slow go.
No, slow jams is more like the 90s though.
Yeah.
R&B is still like now. You can do R&B now. You know what I mean?
Okay,
you know,
okay,
like the
okay,
Joe the
okay.
C, H
Okay, okay,
Town.
So what do you class as R&B then?
R&B can be Ashanti, Christina Milian.
I'd say R&B because you can have a
Brandy.
broader spectrum of things. You can have Kanye, you can have some slow jams in that, so you got more options, you got more variety.
So R&B. Dancehall or Afro beats?
There's only one at the top at the moment.
Afrobeats.
I wouldn't say that by last night. I wouldn't say that by last night's reception.
I'll keep it neutral.
Yeah. Reggae or revival?
Reggae.
Ragga or pop?
Reggae.
Jollof rice or rice and peas?
I still haven't had a good vegan jollof. Like every time that jollof's been presented to me, it hasn't been vegan.
Well, how can't it be vegan?
I think I don't know if there's like, I don't know what ingredients are involved.
Nah,
but
that's cap. They can't. It's made of this tomato based. It's got rice in it.
well, I haven't had a
seasoning.
I haven't had a
Yeah,
true,
you just haven't had a good one.
I've had a basic like takeaway one.
Yeah.
I haven't had like a home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Of someone that makes jollof.
So I got you.
All right, cool.
As I know you're plant-based, you're vegan, right?
Yeah.
All right, so red pea stew or ackee and callaloo?
Ackee and callaloo.
Curried chickpeas or brown stewed jackfruit?
Chickpeas.
Irish moss or sorrel?
Irish moss.
For restaurants, Eat of Eden or Live and Eat plant-based cuisine?
I spend a lot of time at Eat of Eden, but I haven't tried.
How many
tried
branches?
Liberty.
So they got bare branches now.
Yeah.
Eat of Eden,
Brixton's still the best.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's the flagship,
Yeah.
but there's
Oh,
one
they-
in Lewisham,
They got
Where's the
only-
Liberty place?
and they got two in Brixton.
in Tottenham.
Okay, that's quite far.
Oh yeah, for you, yeah,
Yeah,
you're coming
for
from
me.
the southern border.
I have to try it though. I have
Yeah.
to give it a go.
Yeah.
Is it one of the contenders for
Nice,
best
yeah,
plant-based?
yeah. That's why
Fair
I chose the top two. There was others, but they're like. But big up all of you guys. Yeah. Love.
There's a place called Carry Vegan, which is quite good in Norwood Junction.
All right.
Okay.
It's a new one. It's quite good there as well. But
You're all up in the ends, isn't it?
I pick my spots.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, but it's cousins. They come to the ends a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in London a couple of times a week, but when you got to be select about what you eat, you find the good spots and the good places to go.
Wasserman Promotions or Boxer?
What's he gonna?
Wasserman, come on.
What are you trying to do? His
Come on.
contract invite.
Top rank or PBC? Because that one you can
Top rank.
There's no yeah, I'm gonna skip them other ones. Ninja Man or Super Cat?
Ninja Man.
John Holt or Beres Hammond?
I'm thinking. I'm thinking I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
All right, coffee
You got to
or
school me a little bit more.
you're not deep in story like that.
You're
all right.
throwing the questions like
I'm thinking who the hell is that?
Coffee, all right, coffee or Shinsia? That's more recent.
coffee.
Yeah, and you've completed the penultimate
Under
round.
pressure there.
Yes, so well done, man. So
But yeah, I'm gonna. Today we had Harlem Eubank in the house. 14 wins, 6 wins by way of knockout. Thank you very much for coming down to the Neutral Podcast. We got my man Dani, Harlem, myself Lex. Thank you very much for coming, man.
Nice one. Appreciate it, man. It's some good questions. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
thank you, and your punctuality is second to none. You put us
you
to
put me to shame, man. I apologize, man.
5 minutes late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was here half an hour. I was here half an hour early.
He was half an hour early. I was 3 minutes late. I don't even know what time Lex is, but
I was 12 minutes.
Yeah,
if you want to call it
and
that.
some change.
Yeah.
But but no, thanks for coming on, man. Because I mean, you always show love and
man. I
Yeah,
appreciate, and very accessible to the fans. A lot of boxers, no, not all, but some boxers don't really give their fans access to them. But you are, and I like that, man.
Thank you, man.
Real man and the people, man.
Nice one.
But next time you come in here, hopefully you have a title, or a big fight, and we'd love to chop up again.
Yeah, nice shiny belt.
Yeah, trust me.
love that. And that's it for the Neutral Corner via Fight Fan TV Live. It's Dani Glover, it's Lex, and Harlem Eubank. We out.